Okay. Well, Ammar, thank you so much for joining us. Very briefly, I'm Colin Juan, and I've been doing this webinar for a very long time. We know the information on the website is there, but getting real insights from fellows, their experiences, and the realities of the experiences, because it's not all glam, it's not all perfect, but it helps to know what the experience has been like. So Ammar, can you please let us know how you are doing and how your fellowship going?
Thank you so much, Kola, for having me. Yes, the schedule is really tough, but uh, you have to manage. So I'm fine. Thank you. Everything is going great. Almost the fellowship is going to be complete, I guess, in next 2 months. So yes, a lot of things going on in terms of classes, in terms of professional experience, a lot of seminars, workshops, community engagement. So uh, Humphrey Fellowship is not just about academic work. It's combination of academic, professional, community work, and uh, professional, we call it professional affiliation. So a lot of things are part of it. So quite busy.
Okay, very honestly, when you were applying for this fellowship, why did you feel the need to apply for this fellowship?
All right. So what's the need for, okay. So I believe that when, for example, we are in Pakistan or when we work in a developing country or underdeveloped country, there is a need to get insight about how things are done in developed world. If we don't see them, we won't be able to replicate them, or we won't be able to, uh, I would say, copy that, or we won't be able to follow the similar path. So one of the ideas of coming here was to learn how things are done here. So for example, I deal with infrastructure, public infrastructure. I work in a public sector organization that deals with public infrastructure like hospitals, universities, roads, highways. So one of my uh, ideas was to come here to learn what are the best infrastructure practices, how things are done in the US, right? So that when I go back, I can learn from it, and we can make infrastructure greener, we can make it economical, and we can, uh, get maximum out of scarce resources. So that was the fundamental motivation behind applying for Humphrey Fellowship.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you again. At one point, you had an MBA from LUMS, and then you felt that, okay, I have my master's, now I need to go for a professional development opportunity. Do you think that going for that is a better choice? Like, is the program meeting your expectations?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, the motivation for LUMS MBA was entirely different. And one thing that I want to tell to all of the listeners, LUMS MBA has nothing to do with this fellowship. So most of the people, they might see, okay, he or she is from LUMS, so maybe their chances of getting these fellowship or scholarships are higher. Absolutely not. I didn't mention anything regarding LUMS in my application. And at that time, I was not graduated at all. I was studying at LUMS. So I think it was end of my first year, I guess, when I applied, or end of my first semester. I couldn't recall, because Humphrey process started a year, earlier, I guess, when you come here. So LUMS MBA, first of all, has nothing to do with it. And I didn't mention. So if you are not from LUMS, or uh, apparently a reputed school, it doesn't matter at all, right? I studied from, a government school, then a government university. So very basic education from, government institute. So yes, if you are from any institute, it doesn't matter. Your question, I did MBA, and then how this is relevant to my work. The motivation for MBA was just learning, just to make better use of my time. So I had some time, so I thought, okay, let's use that time and learn some management, some leadership skill sets. So uh, just not to waste time. That was the idea, because in Pakistan, I think going there or any similar institute is a better choice rather than doing nothing. So that was the idea. So I learned some management leadership skill set there. However, Humphrey Fellowship, and especially at MIT, this is purely relevant to my work with the government. Here, the program title is Special Program in Urban and Regional Studies. So this is exactly what we do there. So I would say LUMS MBA might not be very relevant to my core work. That was an additional, I would say, advantage in terms of leadership expertise. However, Humphrey Fellowship is 100% relevant to what we do with the government back in Pakistan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you need to have a standing offer in order to apply to this fellowship. You need to have an employment. I mean, that part is written on their website. What is the reality
Yes.
behind that?
Yes. You need to have an employment. First, you need to have a 5 years of professional experience, and then you need to have an employment, because what Humphrey Fellowship expects, like when you go back, you start serving your country. So if you don't have an employment, if you're not employed, then you won't be able to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how hard is that requirement in your opinion?
I think not hard enough, because this is for working professionals, mid-career professionals. This is not for recently graduate students.
Yeah.
This is for people who have 5 years of experience. So if you have been working for 5 years, so most of the applicants, they have that employment. So I don't see anything, or I would say the criteria is hard or difficult to meet. It's
Yeah.
everybody, or most of the applicants, they do work, so it's easier to
Yeah.
meet.
I think the basic understanding is because you have already built your career, and when you graduate from the fellowship, you do not need to be employed so that you can replicate the learning from the fellowship. You have to put them somewhere. So it's better that you employ it or be ready to employ.
Yes, and I I can recall before coming here, they require a leave certificate or something like that from the employer, in which employer states that yes, Mr.
NOC?
ABC is
NOC.
working.
Okay.
Uh, you can call it NOC, but I think it's leave certificate or leave approval or something like that, in which employer states that, okay, we will re-employ, or employment would continue once the fellow returns back to the country.
Okay.
So Humphrey needs some sort of guarantee, I guess, in this regard. So I submitted, I guess, I got an NOC, you call it NOC or whatever, leave certificate. I got it from my employer, and that stated, okay, when I would go back, I would continue my employment.
Okay. 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 Great. Great. That reminds me, employers need to be supportive about your professional development because we know how employers are generally speaking.
Absolutely, absolutely. And my reporting officer, he's very kind, and he's really, really supportive. He encouraged me to apply for it,
I'm
and
glad.
he wrote my recommendations. So even at one point in time, I was like, I should not apply because I was very busy and I was not having enough time. So I thought, okay, let's do it later. And he texted me like, why haven't you applied yet? So thanks to him, he has been really kind. So yes, employers, your reporting officers, people around you, they should be supportive. Uh, yeah.
Oh, I'm really glad. I'm really glad to hear this because people checking on you while your application not there yet. How far along are you? I think he is probably your mentor. It's very rare to have the support of people in our network. So tell me more about your employer. Maybe he had his own personal experience somewhere.
Yeah. They have been outside of Pakistan for most of their careers. So yeah, uh, they studied abroad. They uh, understand the culture and the value of being here.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very important. So
Yeah.
uh, it depends actually, but it's not always like uh, you need employer support only then you can come here. That's an added advantage. Even nobody is there to help you, you can still come here. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
my experience. And I would like to talk about the application process actually. The specifically the difficult task of writing essays. Maybe you would be asking that later. I really want to talk about
I
that
will.
because people, they are concerned about application primarily, like how to write those answers or questions, how to respond to those questions. So do you want me to talk about
Yes.
that now?
Yes, please. Yeah.
So a lot of people, they are contacting me these days. Could you please send us your essays? Could you please send me your responses? Can you please review my response? Could you please guide me what to write? Honestly speaking, I didn't talk to anybody about how to write essays or responses. I just drafted my responses, right? And every day I
Mm.
read them again.
Okay.
Every day I made small changes. So for example, I started writing, I think, couple of months before the deadline, right? I just wrote, at that time there was no chat GPT, right?
Yeah.
Chat
Yeah.
GPT a year
Oh,
ago.
wow, what a
That time there
brilliant
was,
time. Yeah.
yeah. So there was no chat GPT. I didn't use chat GPT or, I didn't seek any help from any, source where you can write the content. What I did was, for example, my field was infrastructure development, right?
Yeah.
And what I did, I read some policies of different developed countries about infrastructure. So, for example, I read UK's infrastructure policy
Mm.
and I read preamble and highlights and summaries, like what exactly they want to do. So I got some understanding like how countries develop infrastructure policies, what are the key considerations, what they are looking for, what are their 5 years or 10 years goals. So I got some idea like if they are doing that, we should do similar things in Pakistan,
Right.
right? So that was really helpful in my application. So in my application, I wrote almost similar things like this is what's happening in Pakistan and this is what we want to do. So
Right.
I didn't text anybody. I didn't reach out to anybody on LinkedIn like I need your help. Trust me, you don't need anybody's help to write these essays. You can write them yourself. Just review some content about your field and how things are done in developed world, and just try to follow that. Like this is how where you are, and this is what you want to do. And second thing is, whatever work you are doing, do not focus on your own work only. Look at your organization's contribution to the society. So, for example, let's suppose I'm a software engineer, let's suppose, in an organization, in a small organization, suppose, right? In an organization that has 20 people, very small organization, just a startup, and I just code, right? Now, how coding or this small contribution is impacting the society, that's what we need to express in the application. Like how this small work has a wider contribution in the society as a whole. So, for example, you can talk about like technological revolution in Pakistan. Pakistan is in need of technology. We are working in automation. This much number of jobs would be created, right? And we are bringing revenue. We are just starting, but ultimately we are aiming for this. So look at the broader context or broader impact that your organization is having. So, for example, as I mentioned, I work with government that primarily deals with infrastructure development. So I might not be directly building those infrastructure, right? Maybe I'm sitting at one corner of the organization and maybe I'm reviewing one of the documents. But ultimately, my work is contributing to the greater benefit for the society in terms of providing high quality infrastructure, hospitals, universities, right? So look at the broader context that you're having. So this was the advice I got from one of my good friends. So yeah, I discussed this with one of my friends. He's a kind of mentor as well. So he guided me, okay, whatever you want to write it from broader perspective rather than just myopic vision of whatever you're doing. So one thing, just rely on yourself. You can write. Second thing, look at the broader impact that your organization is having. And third thing, be realistic. So that's very important. When I used to read this on various platforms, you can find guidance and guidelines on various platforms. When I was submitting my application, I used to read this like, be real, be yourself. I didn't understand what is meant by be real. Be real means write things that you are capable of doing or you can do, right? Or which are practical. Don't say, I want to revolutionize Pakistan. I want to revolutionize IT industry, right? Uh, these are, buzzwords, not really attractive from practical perspective. So just look at the practical impact that you're going to have, even if it is small, but be practical, be yourself, what you can do. So I was reviewing an application of one of the applicant, and she wrote each and everything like, I want to do policy reformation. I want to change the attitude of the society. I want to do cultural change. I mean, whatever you can think of, that would not work, right? Just be realistic, be yourself, and write whatever is relevant to your work. So, for example, in my application, I talked about how we can make infrastructure cheaper. That was simple, one point agenda, nothing else. I didn't talk about environmental protection. I didn't talk about sustainability. I didn't talk about, green infrastructure, energy efficient infrastructure. No, because that's not my job. So, because I'm a civil engineer, so my focus was construction. So I thought how we can make infrastructure cheaper. Pakistan is a country with scarce resources. So what we can do is we can efficiently utilize existing resources. So one way of doing that is how we can use cheap material, low cost material to make infrastructure cheaper. That was the single agenda or purpose. And this is exactly the interviewers, they asked me during the interview, like, what do you mean by this, right? How would you make infrastructure cheaper? And I responded, I want to do this, right? So you don't need to write each and everything in your application. Be specific, uh, be realistic, be yourself, and look at the broader impact that you are going to have or your work is going to have on the society. And one more confusion people have is it for only public servants or people who are in the government? No, not really.
Yeah.
That's a myth, right? You're working in a private sector, you're working with an NGO, you're working for not for profit, you're working for government. It doesn't matter, right? Ultimately, you're contributing to your society, right? So it's not just for people who are in the government sector, it's for everyone. So
Yeah.
if you have 5 years of experience, just go for it, right? No
Yeah.
need to be, a government servant or affiliated with government. No, that's not a requirement. So write your application yourself, seek help from internet, these resources, as I mentioned. I read a couple of policies of developed countries regarding my work. You can read that if you're working in, for example, human rights. So you can review what US is doing on human rights, what other countries are doing in human rights. If you're working in journalism, see what's happening in media industry all over the world. So read a couple of reports. Those reports would give you an idea how to write an essay or how to write a response, right? So you start with a brief introduction, like what exactly you want to do. That should be very precise, to the point. So there's a way to write that, but for that you need to
Yeah.
uh, read some content to see how the information is structured. So for example, if you read a report and you read summary of that report, one page summary, that's exactly how you need to write a response to these essays. Very precise, to the point. Do
Okay.
not add any extra information. And you have to do multiple iterations. As I mentioned, I started writing my application a couple of months before the deadline. Every day I used to add 1 or 2 words every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whenever I had time, for example, during the break or whenever while I was working, I used to open my application, read it again, and then see, okay, this is not the right word. This is duplication. This is what I have already written, right? Just a
Okay.
second.
Okay. This is all very helpful, and you are right. It doesn't happen overnight. And for working professionals, this is the amount of time you can spend every day. It could be 15 minutes, it could be one word, and then you shut it down, you come back to it, you go to your job, come back to it. I don't know. It's better to start your application before the application open. Do you recommend that?
I mean,
How
even
long
the
is the
application, you have
application
enough
itself?
time. Yeah. So applications are opened, I think, 2, 3 months before. So you have enough time. Like, for example, for this year, I think 24 or 23 April is the last date or something like that. But
Yeah.
applications got opened a couple of months ago. So you have plenty of time. 2 months is too much time, right? Even you can write in a month, right? You can write in 10 days, but for that, you need to spend more time. You need to spend maybe a couple of hours on daily basis, right? But what I say is do not wait. Do it now if you really want to apply. Otherwise, you won't be able to apply. Even I wanted to apply for a degree program, and I thought, okay, I will apply. I will apply next week.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start on Monday. But I couldn't apply because if you keep on procrastinating or delaying, then you won't be able to apply. So start today if you really want to do something. There is no cost involved in it, right?
Yeah.
And what's the worst case scenario? Like you would be rejected. That's it. No problem. Getting rejected is better than not applying,
It is.
right?
It is.
So apply, right? You would learn. And I can tell you this was for the first time I applied for a scholarship program. I didn't apply for any program, any scholarship ever in my entire life. This was
Okay.
the first time I applied without any help, without any guidance, without any reference, without anything, right? I just opened my computer and looked for some resources. I can recall there was a video, I think it was in Spanish, I guess. Somebody in Latin America or
Okay.
maybe Africa, I couldn't recall the language. So the lady explained how to write essays. That was in a different language, but I was not able to understand the language, but I could see those slides or the way she was presenting. So I learned from that. You
Right.
understand?
Yes.
Some keywords, some highlights. So that video is on LinkedIn, sorry, on YouTube. I could share the link, right? That is that really helped me. Although the language was not English, but still I understood from there, some keywords and, I got the idea. So you have to do some work, some hard work in it. So put some work in it, and then you would be able to learn how to write good essays or responses. That is very important.
Okay.
But you can do it. I mean, why I'm explaining this all in detail, just you don't need anybody's help. If I didn't need help, you don't need help, right? So don't rely like somebody would come and tell you, okay, hey, let me write your essays. Nobody would do that, or let me review your essays. You don't need anybody's help to write your essays. You don't need anybody else to review your essays. You can do it. Start doing it today and just look for various resources available on the internet. Those are sufficient to help you write a good response.
Right. Right. Um, did you not find Google Translate to translate that video that you were looking at?
No, maybe I was not aware of it, or maybe whatever the reason was, I couldn't get the translation, and I didn't try
Okay.
that because I was getting enough information from whatever. Because normally what happens is, for example, we are Urdu speaking, but while we speak Urdu, we use a lot of English language
Yeah,
words, right? So if somebody is understand English, they
you get
can
that.
see
Yeah.
what's going on, right? What's being discussed.
Yeah.
So I got enough information from that video through those English words. So yes, I didn't use any translator or anything.
Right. Okay. That's great. That's great. Okay. I'm just thinking of how did the application look like? There's your portal, and then there's the statement of purpose you have to write, and then there's the references. How many references were asked from you?
So if I recall, I think I submitted
Yeah.
three
Three. Yeah. They asked questions. Yeah.
three responses, if I recall. Maybe two or three, or I think two I can recall. And I think there were two, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
There were
And
two references.
I have seen for Fulbright masters we have to essays, but how's the portal looking like for Humphrey Fellowship in terms of
It's
essay
it's
response?
it's user friendly. It's very simple. It's easy, right? Portal is not a challenge. It's user friendly, and you can simply go there and you just write your responses before in a Word format, and then you just copy paste.
Yeah, you
So
copy that.
it's
Yeah.
very simple. It's easy. Like
Mm.
it's not a challenge. What I would advise it, do not use any copyrighted material. Do not copy paste from internet. Try writing the content yourself. I'm not sure about Chat GPT these days, but I was listening to the head of the commission. She is the in charge of US
Mm.
FPE back in Pakistan. So she was saying, don't use Chat GPT.
Right.
So because yeah, so she was warning like don't use Chat GPT at all. So yes, don't use ChatGPT. You can get the idea, but ultimately write whatever you're writing yourself.
Mm.
You can seek help in, improving your grammar or spellings, but don't just rely on that. That won't be helpful. And use some stats, some numbers to support your argument or your stance. So your stance backed by data, that would be really helpful.
That just reminded me, before ChatGPT was even here, the amount of applications that were plagiarized unintentionally was because when you are deriving a fact from the internet, many people forget to paraphrase that or add the actual data source for that information. What happens is when you copy paste, there is just quotation or anything, your application is still flagged for plagiarism. And this has actually led many, like two of my applications that got rejected from Fulbright last year. Even though we were in the era of GPT, but they were not using GPT, but using information from the internet and not paraphrasing that. So I think rewriting in your own words is also important.
Yes, and what I'm saying, it's not difficult. This is what I want to tell. Like, it's not difficult, right? Just trust yourself, trust your abilities, right? You can write. And one more thing, like, they're not looking for somebody who can speak English. That's very important. We have fellows who are not able to speak English fluently.
Okay.
And Humphrey does not look for people who can speak English. So, for example, let's suppose, if you have written your application, and uh, I think you need to do English language test as well. And let's suppose you're not able to get enough score in the English language test, then they would invite you 3-4 months earlier to teach you English. So English is not a requirement. You understand? So if your English score is not good, I think that is good for you. You can come here a little earlier, right? And you can spend 3-4 months here. You can learn more. So English is not the criteria. That is what maybe most of the students, they don't know. So when I took my TOEFL English language test, I was really worried, like, would I be able to get enough score? I got more than 100 because I couldn't prepare for that. I think my score was 107 or 8. I couldn't recall.
Good enough.
And then I asked my coordinator, like, is it enough score? He said, we don't need score. We just want to see if you need to go to US earlier, or we can, send you during the normal schedule. So I thought, I was like, this is one of the criteria. He said, no, that's not the criteria. Like, this is just to determine if you need additional help in English language, then we can send you a little earlier. But your score is good, so you can go as per the normal schedule. So English is not the criteria. If your language skills are poor, that's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
So don't just, uh, don't think like that. Your English language skills are not good, so you shouldn't apply. That's not the criteria. That is actually helpful. If your language skills are not good, that is helpful to you, because Humphrey would give you an additional opportunity to learn English language. So some of the fellows from various countries, they came here 4 months earlier, and they spent 4 months in learning English language. So yes, language is not a problem.
Okay, that is great. That is great. So anything I want to talk about the program placement. How do you know where you are likely going to be placed?
Yeah, likely going to be placed.
I mean the university, sorry, not the program, the
University, right?
university.
That's a
Yeah.
very good question. So if you go to the Humphrey website, they have list of host universities, right? So there are 13, 14, I couldn't exactly recall the number. So 13, 14 host universities, or maybe more than that, maybe 20 universities, let's suppose. Now, those universities, they have their core programs, right? They have mentioned, okay, this particular program is offered by this university. So for example, infrastructure or urban studies or planning, this program is hosted by MIT, right? So the field that I chose was urban studies and urban planning, right? So they sent me to MIT, right? If
Okay.
somebody has chosen human rights, so there would be a university that hosts student regarding human rights. So they would send them there. So I think you cannot choose university yourself
You know.
because all depends on your field and you cannot change your field. I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
cannot.
like, okay, I'm a lawyer and no, I'm a healthcare professional. No,
Yeah.
I'm an engineer, I would stay engineer. And maybe engineers who are working in infrastructure, most probably they would come to MIT. And people who are working in journalism, they would come to another university. So
Yeah.
they have specified universities. Uh, and you cannot select university, you can select your field. And I think you have limited choice there as well, because you cannot change your last 5 year 10 year experience. You can't say, okay, I
Yeah.
have been working in human rights, okay, now let's move to journalism, or let's move to infrastructure, or let's move to healthcare or any other field. So uh, you cannot choose university. It all depends on your field,
Mhm.
and field depends on your past experience. So whatever your experience is, accordingly select the right field. So I think there are 10 to 15 fields: human rights, agriculture, I think environment protection, sustainability, I guess,
Yeah.
land
Yeah. Public health as
management,
well.
public health, land management, and
Mhm.
journalism, something like that, and urban studies and planning. So yes, you have to pick one of those fields, and
Wow.
accordingly they will see your relevance, your field, and then they would send you to the relevant university. So
Okay.
you cannot choose your university.
Is there anything like a priority field? I mean, people who are applying, do they need to think about the priority field here?
No, there is no
Uh,
prioritization. You have to choose one field, and you will be placed accordingly.
no, I meant like, for example, if I'm a designer, but in the not in the urban management, but I'm a digital designer and working for sustainability, but I can't find the exact program of my relevance. So would you recommend them to still apply or not?
Yeah, I mean, still apply. It's not like that your work should exactly match with the title of
Yeah.
that field. No, within that field there are numerous I would say tasks or job functions which are relevant to your work. So find that relevance.
Okay.
I mean,
Yes.
study that, study those fields, spend some time, go through the Humphrey website and see what is urban planning, right? And they they have defined it. So and then find some relevance. So I don't think like you need to be exactly matching
Mm-hmm.
with the title of those fields. That's not important. The important thing is that your work should be relevant to that field in any capacity.
Okay. Okay. So, Mark, coming back to the original thought, you had your fellowship is quite jam-packed. It is more because it's about to end and you have about 2 months left and you want to do more.
Yeah, so Humphrey Fellowship it's a 10 months long program, and it's not just academic or just
Mhm.
classes at the university. It's combination of a lot of activities because it is for mid-career professionals, working professionals. So the focus is not just purely academia, right? So it's combination of academia and industry and professional experience. So for example, one of the beauties of this program is that when you come to the university, you design your own program yourself.
Oh,
You, yeah,
that's
so for
interesting.
example, here at MIT, there are thousands of courses which are being offered, right? So you choose your own program. Okay, for example, this is what you want to learn. So this course you're going to take. So you can see, okay, I want to take a course regarding entrepreneurship. I will take one course in infrastructure development. I will take one course in, let's suppose, human rights, right? So you design your own program yourself, and that's your choice. You want to take one course, you want to take two courses, you want to take three, you want to take four. It's up to you, right? So there is no compulsion from Humphrey side, like this is the minimum number of courses you need to take. No, it's your choice. As part of the program, in some universities, one seminar per week, and in some universities, two seminars per week are mandatory. So, for example, Monday or Wednesday, this is mandatory. You need to participate in those activities. Apart from that, it's flexible. You need to design your own program, classes, workshops, seminars, and when you come to university, there are so many opportunities for you. You can apply for different competitions, you can be part of different teams, and whatever is happening in the university,
Yeah.
you're part of that. Now it's your choice what you want to do. So for example, here we have a lot of competition for in business entrepreneurship. uh, you can uh, start you can make a team and start your own startup. You can present it, you can seek grants. So one thing, it's highly flexible. It's up to you what you want to do. And second thing, since the time is less, it's just 10 months, and in 10 months you have to do a lot of work. And one more compulsory or mandatory requirement from the Humphrey is professional affiliation. You need to spend 210 hours with a US based organization. So you have to choose your organization yourself. You have to reach out to them, you have to convince them, you have to secure that affiliation, and then you need to inform your university host, like, yes, this particular organization I would be working with. So a lot of things are going on. You're looking for classes, you're looking for workshops, you are searching for relevant organizations, and sometimes you're taking classes, you're going for professional affiliation because it's a full-time job, right? And you're attending seminars, you're meeting friends. So a lot of things simultaneously. For me, it's very challenging to meet the requirement of the schedule, right? Because classes, professional affiliation, and I do some my own business as well. I run my business, so a lot of my time goes into that. So yes, I mean, it's fully jam packed. When you come here, it looks like 10 months are enough, but they're not. It just looked like I started a couple of months ago, like, and it's just
Yeah.
almost over. Yes, a lot of activities, just because there is a lot of flexibility in it. You want to do everything, but you can do that, right? Because you want to get maximum out of this opportunity. So one of the benefits is that it's flexible. You can design your own program yourself. Second thing, due to shortage of time, you really have to work hard to get maximum benefit from this opportunity.
Right, right. Do you have your organization affiliated? Which one is that?
Organization affiliated with what?
Yeah. What is your affiliated organization?
No, I mean, you're asking about professional affiliation?
Yeah.
No, I came here and then I decided, okay, I would be working on, I reached out to almost 20 different organizations.
Okay.
I visited some of the offices as well. And I said,
Okay.
hey, I'm Ammar, and I'm at MIT, and this is the requirement. I want to work with you. So they said, okay, welcome. I talked to the HR. Then we talked about what work I would be doing. So yes, uh, I came here and then I started looking for the organizations, and I spoke to them and I found a couple of the organizations, and now I'm working with them.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you need to be affiliated in the next 2 months.
So when you come here, you can start your professional affiliation anytime.
Okay,
During these 10 months, you have to work 210 hours.
okay,
So you can start your work whenever you come here, right? If you have your organization, selected before you come here, that's great. But I would suggest start searching when you come here. Don't wait for it. Look for organization, reach out to them. There is no harm in reaching out to them, right? Just drop an email, talk to them, visit their office. So, but that is secondary. When you come here, your host university would be providing you some
yeah,
information about it. That's not a difficult thing. Um, so the only thing is just uh, be aware of what's going on in the university, right? Keep track of all the events and find relevant opportunities and then just exploit them.
yes. I'm really glad you are at MIT. My Boston experience was amazing, and Boston University, MIT, Harvard, these are all institutions I'm very close to. I go there often, so I'm glad you are at Boston. I hope you like the weather. How did you find the weather?
I like it. Most of my fellows, they don't like weather here, but I love the weather here. Like it was
Yeah,
not intense this winter. We had snow a couple of times, and when you come from 50 Celsius temperature back in Pakistan, it looks really nice here.
yeah, yeah.
So for me, the weather is amazing here. I really enjoy.
Okay, because I remember in my first semester we had a blizzard and it took me some time getting used to that awful snow and taking care of myself and all that.
Yes, this winter it was not awful. It was, I would say, nicer. So
Oh, nice.
I really enjoyed that. So sometime even during the snow, I like to go out and just to have a walk and
Yeah, yeah.
click
That's
some
great.
pictures and videos and then come back.
Yeah,
So I enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, anything unusual that you learn on the program that you didn't think of before? Any unusual learning from your fellows or any assumptions
Yeah,
you
not
had?
unusual. I would say uh, an amazing learning is learning about American culture and the way uh, American people work and their personal interactions and professional interactions. Back in Pakistan, we have a different view of these developed and foreign countries. But when you come here, you actually get to know the reasons behind development of these nations.
Yeah.
So these people are really hardworking. These people are smart, and they really put everything into whatever they do. So yeah, learning about American culture, that is really, really, insightful for me. I didn't have that impression in my mind when I was in Pakistan. But after coming here, I realized like how these nations, these countries are great and how they are dominating the world in almost in every field, economically, technologically, in all aspects. So yes, learning about American culture is one of the, um, I would say, greatest learning for me.
Yeah, yeah, I got that. It's very different knowing how are they advanced and us, and then you realize, okay, they can how it. Wow. Any final words for anyone listening in?
Just, I would say, do apply, and nothing is better than that, This is one of the greatest opportunities, I would say, for students who are in Pakistan or working professionals. Um, you you come here, you learn, and when you go back, uh, people would start looking at you with a different lens. When
Yeah.
you come here, you learn, and for example, right now, even people here in the US, when we say, okay, I'm at MIT, they were like, oh, really? So, I
Yeah.
mean, uh, apart from learning, your professional standing and the way people look at you, that completely changes. So, must apply, right? Trust your abilities, be confident. If I can secure this, you can secure this, right? I was not into this at all. I didn't apply. I didn't have this in my mind. So let me tell you how I ended up applying. So one of my reporting officers, one day he called me. I was going back to my home from office. It was around 6 o'clock in the evening, and he said, I was driving, and he said, Ammar, there is a scholarship, Hubert Humphrey Fellowship. So please check the details and let's talk about it tomorrow. I want to apply, so please guide me. And he was so quick, like I couldn't understand what he said, Hubert Humphrey, because it's a difficult name. I was like, I don't know what he said. I was a little worried. And
Yeah.
then I thought, should I ask him what he told me over the phone? I said, no, okay. I went back to home. I tried some similar words on Google, and ultimately, with some difficulty, I ended up find Hubert Humphrey Fellowship. I
Right.
got the details. I got the details. Next day or couple of days later, I presented the details to him. Okay, this is so he was super busy. He didn't apply. I ended up applying. So
Oh, nice.
this is how I applied for this fellowship. So I didn't have any idea like I would be applying for this. So I applied and I got selected. So just apply. Just
Yeah.
apply. If you're not applying, I would say, uh, let me find the right word. Like you're not doing any favor to yourself if you're not applying. So must apply if you are uh, if you want to improve yourself, if you want to learn something, if you want to be better in terms of your personal and professional growth, do apply. I don't see any better opportunity than this for working professionals, for mid-career professionals. Must apply, regardless of the field, regardless of the industry. Find relevance and apply. There is no cost associated with it. Don't tell anybody like you're applying. Like a lot of people, they are afraid of failure, right? Don't tell anybody. No need to tell your friends like you're applying. No need to tell your family members, right? Just apply and wait
Yeah.
for the result. And so must apply, not only for Humphrey, for any other relevant opportunity, do apply.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be, really helpful. So that's one of the pieces of advice that I can give you. Must apply before the deadline and start today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's right.
March, so you have 20-25 days, enough time. Start today and, apply for that. And I'm sure you'll get the chance.
Right. Amal, I don't know if you like compliments, but I will give you one anyway. In my experience, people who actually get something in their life, they're actually proactive. They try, they read, they research, and then they talk to someone to have their feelings and thoughts validated. Because I feel like sometimes other people see more potential in us than we give credit to ourselves. So if someone is telling you try and look into it, but it's on the applicant if they are proactive or not. So I think you're being proactive got you where you are now.
Yeah, you are right, but I think it's a lot of factors are relevant in this regard. Your effort, your luck, support you're getting. So it's combination of
Yeah,
various factors. But regardless of the outcome, I mean, we should try.
yeah,
I I believe in trying, right?
yeah,
So yes, just try. even if you fail, just try. So I can recall I was with my fellows, and they were doing skiing. I didn't do it in my entire life, but I tried. I fell down a couple of times. It was really embarrassing, but I said, okay, there is no harm in trying. So I tried. I learned something. I couldn't learn most of the things, but that's just part of life. Just try, explore things, and that's how you learn. And this is how what we call experience. So just try,
Right.
regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ammar. I think we are right clock on time, and this is going to be uploaded. And thank you again for all the helpful insights. They're very, very helpful to me as well. Because personally, I'm not eligible for Humphrey yet because I am still 1 year behind. I need 1 more year to go because I have my master's from Punjab. I'm not eligible yet. But I was getting ready to apply, and then I found out I'm not eligible yet. So I have to wait 1 more year.
Thank
Hopefully,
you so much. Good luck, good luck to you and everybody who would be applying for any opportunity or any program.
yes, thank you everyone.